Hey everybody, how you doing? This is about to be a really fun video, so I'm gonna get straight to it. The purpose of this video is to get my 7 mag sighted in, making sure it's dead on at 100 yards, and just group checking it because we are going into deer season. One of my goals when it comes to filming is to film a deer hunt with every cartridge that's out there. It's a big goal, but I'm gonna do the best I can. One of the ones that I have not filmed a deer hunt with yet, actually I've never taken a deer with, is the 7mm mag. So this right here, this is my Psycho S20 incredible 7mm mag. I'm gonna show you a view up close here quick, but real quick, just to go over it. Psycho S20 in 7mm mag. On top, I got a Zero-Tech trace. On the end, I got my Banished 30 gold shusher, and we're going to make sure that it's sighted in today with this Remington Core-Lokt tipped stuff. I actually filmed a video last year with this exact same setup as you see it, even this same Remington Core-Lokt tipped, taking it out to 1,000 yards. But in this video, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go back to 100. We're gonna make sure that it's dialed in perfect at 100, do a group or two to check it, and then at the end of this video, I'm going to give you the drop data on this round. So if you were to hunt with this, I'll give you the dials for your optic, and I'll put in a highlight reel from when I took this rig out to 1,000 yards at the end of the video too. But real quick, let me show you up close everything we got here. Now, like I said, this is my Psycho S20. There's two different stocks you can get for these. There's the thumb hole, which is what this is, and I think the other one is called the Precision, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to look it up. But on top, like I said, Zero-Tech trace. It's got the dials. Very nice piece of glass. Remington Core-Lokt. The stuff that this rifle tends to like is 150 grain. And then on the end, I've got my Banished 30 gold. I put that thing on everything. It is rated up to 300 rum, so it can hold some power. But let's go back to the bench, make sure it's dialed in here, see what kind of groups we can get out of it, with the goal of hopefully me getting a deer with this rig here soon. All right, so back to 100 yards here. I just checked the bore sight up close, so we should be definitely close enough on paper, but we might be dead on bullseye still. That's the whole reason right here is to check that. But pulled out my new sled. This is the Caldwell lead sled DFT2. But I always prefer, especially when sighting things in, to put them in the sled. Take me out of the equation, and a bonus of taking out some of the recoil. But let's see where this is at, and I didn't grab that first round. There it is. Do some groups here and make sure it's dialed in for this deer season. Definitely a good squeeze. And hey, we're still in the bullseye. If you guys are new to the show, when I draw these targets, that circle is tracing a penny, which is 3/4 of an inch across. So looks like we're still in the bullseye, but let's do some groups with it. Might need to do some fine tuning. Good squeeze. Just stacking them in there. One thing I like about this reticle is it's a dot as opposed to just a crosshair. Now this does have the what some might call a Christmas tree reticle in it. So holdovers up and down, left and right. But the very center is a dot, which I like, especially for hunting. You can see exactly where you're holding that dot. Right now, we may give it a click left, but we're sitting pretty as far as the Psycho liking this 150 grain Remington Core-Lokt tipped here. That's 3 touching, guys. That's probably going to come in every bit of probably a 0.3 inch group. But while I'm sitting here, I don't think I'm going to adjust the up and down, but I am going to adjust it one click to the left. So right's that way, left is going to be this way. This particular scope, the turrets are locking, so you pull them out and adjust them, then lock them back down. But let's go ahead and send 3 more. Typically when I'm trying to do precision stuff, I let it cool. But I can sit there and hold this barrel. This has a fluted barrel, flinging 3 pretty close in a row of 7 mag. It's not got too hot. But let me sit here and load 3. I recently did a video with my buddy Jim on the Backfire channel where we discussed with several other of our friends what our favorite, I can't remember if the question was long range round or long range hunting round was, but my pick was 7mm mag. Definitely love 7mm mag. You can't argue with the Ballistics. And it's just pretty much well around awesome, especially when you get one that flings them like this S20 here. But let's go to the left side. Let me adjust my rest here. And we'll just send 3 more. See if I can do that good again here. Still putting them in there. I might need to make one more adjustment left, but we'll go ahead and send 3 here. We're punching the bullseye there now. Good squeeze there, and that's another really tight group, probably a 0.3 or a 0.4 inch group. But let's go up and take a look at that target, and I'll measure those groups with the calipers. I'll talk about dials for you, and we'll take a little bit of a look at that long range footage from this rig too. All right, so up at the target here, remember, that's the Sako S20, 7 mag, 100 yards with those 150 grain Core-Lokt tips. That was my first group there, 3 touching. And then I gave it 1 click left, and we had basically 3 touching again. 2 in the same hole and 1 touching the edge there. But remember, those circles are 3/4 of an inch, so based on that, those are probably both in the 0.3 inch range. But let me grab the calipers and we'll measure these. All right, we're back at the house. So that Sako in 7mm mag is pretty awesome, hey? But I just measured those groups with my calipers. Check this out. This is one of the most precision groups that I can consistently put together. This combination is just incredible. I think I'd be doing us a disservice if I don't take that out catching deers this season. But we did those 2 groups there. Again, this is the Sako S20 in 7mm mag, one of my favorite cartridges. 100 yards from the bench with those Remington Core-Lokt tips, 150 grainers. Right off the rip, guys, that's 3 0.27 inch group. And when I measure things with the calipers, I'm pretty generous. To be quite honest, it's probably a shade better than that. 0.27. And then, without letting it cool, immediately after those 3, I got a 0.36. So, I don't care who you are. What is that, an average of 0.29? Or, no, that's 0.36. I'm looking at it backwards. 0.36 and a 0.27, what the average of that is a, what, 0.31 or something like that. Anyways, 0.3 average, 100 yard groups. Hey, I will take that any day. But Sako S20, got the Zero Tech trace on top, and yeah, that's my Banish 30 gold can we're running on there, and those Remington Core-Lokt tips. Now there's a couple things I was going to tell you we were going to do. Measure the groups. I'm going to give you the dials. I just did the calculations. And then I'm going to show you where I had this out at the range doing some long range stuff a little while ago. But let me calculate this out to a mile. Actually, I just did it to 1,000. I'm going to recalculate all this out to a mile. And then I'm going to show you the numbers here quick. All right, so what I just did here is I calculated the drop charts out to 1,800 yards. A mile is 1,760 yards. So I'm giving us the numbers here. So column number 1 is the range. This I have dialed in dead on at 100 yards, as you saw in the video. But column 2 is the drop in inches at any given distance, and we're doing 100-yard increments. So at 200 yards, this combination with this, remember these calculations are based on this Core-Lokt tip stuff, 150 grainers, has a BC of 0.530 on the G1 scale, over 3,100 feet per second at the muzzle. So at 200 yards, it's dropping 2.5 inches. At 300 yards, 9.59 inches. At 400 yards, 21 inches, so on and so forth. Now, the next two columns, column number 3 and column number 4, is where we're going to pause for a second. That is your MOA and mil elevations. So, or dials, or dope, or whatever you want to call it. I called it dope in a video the other day, and some guy said, that's dope stands for data on previous engagements. You don't have previous engagements, so that doesn't count as dope. I'm like, come on, man. We calculate it. We call it dope if you want to call it dope. But, just for sake of example, this Zero-Tech trace is in mils. So, if I were to go to 1,000 yards, we'll go to the mils column. 7 mils is what I would dial for this. So, piece of cake. Piece of cake. If we wanted to go to a mile, 1,700 yards is 20. 1,800 yards is 23. We'd probably go about 22 and send it for a mile. But this is the calculations. I'm also showing the energy and the bullet speed on here. That ammo still has almost 1,000 foot-pounds of energy at 900 yards. A lot of people say, oh, it takes 1,000 foot-pounds of energy for deer, what you should do. Anyways, I told you I'd give you the dials for your scopes. Now remember, this is going to be pretty spot on if your velocities are similar to mine. If they're off, they're going to be a little bit off, but it'll be real close to get you. Real close. So that's the dial out to 1,800 yards. Now, I told you I'd roll in some footage where I took this exact same setup exactly and took it to long range. Let me show you some of that footage here. Got it. I'm going to go ahead and take one more at that distance. Bang spot, 4.7 mils, 750.
I'm up a 10. Impact hit it 6 o'clock on that bottom red.
Oh yeah, I see it. Same spot.
You came up, you went center. You went center of the plate, about an inch right of dead center.
Three in a row at 1,000. So here's my dope card I was using out there. You can see this stuff has a ballistic coefficient on the G1 scale of 0.530. That is fantastic, especially for hunting bullets. But these columns over here is what I had put down on paper before I went to the range to give me a baseline. I made these calculations, And then in this column, I wrote my actuals. So you guys saw the hits out there. I was dialing these until I went a little bit further. And at 750 yards, my dial was 4.7 mils with that ammo. And then at 1,000, my 6.8 calculation was off by almost a whole mil. My actual at 1,000 was 7.6 mils in elevation, and then 1 mil windage. I was just holding inside the reticle there. That Zero Tech has holdover marks inside the reticle. But hey guys, appreciate you watching. Hey, if you haven't tried some of this Core-Lokt tip, it's good stuff. It's high BC stuff. I don't ever recall me putting any of these loadings in anything and getting bad groups out of it. But taking whitetail with this stuff over the past 2 years, or has it been 1 year? I can't remember. Anyways, taking deer with this stuff, it definitely takes deer and makes it's flatter out for longer ranges, tipped rounds, higher BCs, so on and so forth. And you can see this Sako S20 absolutely loves this stuff. But hey, comment down below if you want this to be one of our deer hunting rigs for this upcoming deer season. I think I'm already putting it on the list. But hey, appreciate y'all watching. Make sure you follow us everywhere. I am posting deals everywhere other than where you're watching it, because we're not allowed to do some of that stuff. And we can post whatever we want over there. Make sure you're signed up for the newsletter over on WHOTEEWHO.com. Same thing. Bunch of stuff over there on WHOTEEWHO.com that you don't want to miss out on. Appreciate y'all watching. Let me know what you think about the 7mm mag. It's one of my favorites. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you on the next one. Hooty-hoo!
Load it up and get it on as soon as you can. 30-06, 10mm, 50 cal. It don't make a difference, man. We like to shoot and make a little boom boom. If you like